Yeah. I just wrote down, I don't know who's the originator of this idea, but the best apology is change behavior. So rather than feeling like you need to announce how sorry you are, you need to whatever, just, again, get in there,
Get
roll
on
your
it.
sleeves up,
Get
do
on with
something,
it.
make a difference.
That's right.
That's the apology.
That's right.
Right? Because
That's right.
you weren't doing something before. In fact, you were doing things that were harmful. Great. Do things now that aren't.
That's right.
That's how you apologize. Welcome to the Mystical Aunties podcast, everybody. I'm Elizabeth D'Alto.
And I'm Elisha Tischel.
The tagline for this show is, "For the love of all things sacred." So how are we showing that love? In a world where there aren't just an abundance of healers and spiritual practitioners, but also spiritual influencers, we wanted to team up to offer seasoned and mature insight, wisdom, and exploration on a range of topics, from healing, human behavior, somatics, and plant medicine, to communication, relationships, sexuality, spirituality, and more. With decades of experience in our respective fields, and with some trusted friends we consider the Council of Mystical Aunties, you're invited to evolve with us, go deep with us, and laugh hysterically with us, because true mystics know if you can't find the humor in all this, you're missing the best part. Let's get into the show.
And we're live.
And we're live. We're talking about girl rage, but it's actually going to be so much more than that.
Yeah.
So do you want to share with the good listeners what you were saying?
Yeah, I was just saying one of the things that I'm really noticing is what I'm calling girl rage. And I don't mean that in demeaning, like towards girls.
Girl dinner or girl math.
Yeah, totally.
Right?
And
yeah,
like so many women waking up right now, recognizing where they've been complicit, cooperating, like part of the system, participating in the patriarchy, ways that, they thought they were all the stuff, right? All of the kind of like boom, 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 boom epiphanies and some of that's painful for the people who are in that moment. And all of us have had our moments of deconditioning or awakening or revelatory moments where you're like, holy fucking shit, I didn't realize that. I didn't know. But then this sort of like way that they think that they're at the forefront of the conversation and the expectation that you should be raging where they're raging. We're like, I was raging about this 10 years ago. Like I have been waiting for you to join me at the party. And so I'm not in the same place. Like I get it. And I can be there with you. And just sort of like the mismatch of like where we are in journeys with different people and like, how to welcome them to the party, but like not then sort of have to participate with how they're arriving as a guest to the party you've been like sitting at for years, waiting for them to join you.
Honestly, even this frame feels important for people to acknowledge that. People who are just waking up to acknowledge that, like, you're showing up to a party that's been in progress for a very long time.
For a long time.
So even calling it like a guest, that actually feels what in popped into my mind is, God, when was it? The end of 2023. That's when I gave my TEDx.
Yeah.
There was a speaker on in my group, Tina Strawn, who talked about Black-sip, like Black people leaving the U.S. to go live abroad.
Right.
And she was doing that in Costa Rica, where there was like a nice little expat community of Black folks. And one of the things she was saying was like the focus of it is so important, is to know that you're moving to a place, you're a guest. You might be now calling this home, but you're arriving as a guest.
Right.
In an existing culture, ecosystem, land.
Yeah.
And so it's humble and important, and I'm going to put here correct, just out of like reverence and respect. Like if you're migrating somewhere, get to know the place. And this is an experience I'm also having come back to New York City and see how much it's changed, the gentrification, the transplants and stuff like that, and still seeing people moving here and wanting New York to change to accommodate them and their preferences.
Right.
And it's like, no. You're moving into a very existing thing, right? And the way the thing exists now is different than it existed 5, 10, 20, 30 plus years ago, right?
Right.
But which then also reminds me, so many reference points of back when I did the Real Up Level series, one of the people I spoke with was a woman named Pam Slim, who has a beautiful community where she lives in Arizona. And the community is one of the things I was talking about with her. And one of the most important points she made
was like, when you roll up on a new community, learn the customs,
Right.
learn the lay of the land,
Yeah.
show up with beginner's mind as a new person, asking, how can I integrate into what already exists? And is
Right.
there anything I could add to make it better?
Absolutely.
But, and so this kind of feels the same, right?
Yeah.
Like what you're calling like the party, the broader community of people who have like been talking about this stuff, been processing. And even recently I was talking to a couple of my friends who really grew up in like activist families and cultures, or like got with the shit at a much younger age
Right.
than I did. I didn't really get into it until I realized how over the course of 2 decades, from like 10 to 30, I was learning, and like seeds were being dropped and preparing me to just open right up to it at the moment of like deeper radicalization that came
Right.
in my early 30s.
Right.
But but even me, I'm like, I once was a late to the party person.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Coming in, honestly, my awakening around this kind of stuff didn't happen truly until 2017.
Right.
In a bigger trajectory shifting, life and identity redefining way.
Yeah.
And for the people that have been toiling for decades, 2017 was late.
Right.
But now for me, I'm almost a decade in.
Right.
As people are just waking up now.
Totally.
And I get that. It's like, I used to have a friend who would call this, I think she called it like the therapy high. You know, when someone like goes to a therapy session and has a big revelation and they just want to tell everyone about it. And because it's new to them, they're talking about it as if it's this new revelation. Meanwhile, people are like, yeah, boo, I mean,
Totally.
That's fine. So I think what a lot of it points to, it's an ego thing. And a humility crossed with curiosity thing.
Right.
Right? Right. Because when your own feelings are the biggest thing and your own experience of a thing, you don't have really any capacity to be like, all right, hold up. What's been going on? This conversation, there's no way this is a fresh conversation.
Yeah.
What's been going on here? What do I need? Catch me up. Like,
right.
There's nothing wrong. I mean, and I understand why. I'm just going on so many tangents here. Interrupt me at any point if you want. But people are going to wake up when they wake up.
Absolutely.
I don't actually believe in being late to the party. I believe that you get the invitation and you arrive exactly when you're supposed to.
Right.
And I understand, though, why it's infuriating to others who have been doing the toiling and the work and whatever and coming along for a really, really, really long time. I understand how it could be frustrating. And at the same time, we need more people.
Right.
we need more people.
Yeah, we do.
At the party.
Yeah.
But it's both sides, right?
Totally.
It's like people already in the party, because of ways that they've treated new people before.
Let's talk about that too.
It makes people not want to be new.
Let's talk about that too.
We do need to talk about that too.
But here's what
how we're receiving new people.
That's right. But here's part of the thing is I think that one of the two ways that people tend to arrive at the party is to come in with like they have discovered the wheel, and we all and they now are going to take over as expert status, right? And this is where we have a misnomer about leadership and participation needing experts, right? And we don't need experts right now. We need people to step into self-leadership, meaning that you're leading yourself from your center and that you're participating and weaving something new with the collective, like come to the party and let's all get our knitting needles out or our weaving midgers, whatever you weave with, right?
Yeah.
So
our looms.
Great. Yeah. And let's do that together, right? Like that's the kind of leadership we're looking for.
Yeah.
And listening, right? Like coming in as a listener and not as an
1,000%.
expert, right? As in since you've discovered something because you read 3 Substacks and watched 20 TikToks, you now know something, right? But the other side then is like, if you don't come in like that, you come in full of shame.
I'm sorry. This math is so funny to me. I read, like, talk about things 20 years ago, people would be like, I'm sorry, what the fuck are you talking about? I read 3 Substacks and I watched 20 TikToks.
So I understand.
And then I logged into Threads. Like, it's so funny.
Totally, right?
So funny.
But then the other side is like not coming in with any leadership and you come in full of shame, right? You come in completely collapsed around your privilege that you haven't recognized. You come in completely like, and so that's not helpful either. So neither one of those two
Well, right,
positionings
because
are
then
helpful.
what that is doing is that is then making your feelings
Centered.
everyone else's problem.
Totally. So now we have to talk
Now
about how
people have to manage your feelings
right.
and use conversational bandwidth
Right.
on receiving your feelings.
That's right.
That shit you need to handle elsewhere.
That's right. Yeah.
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 And
It's okay to name it.
totally.
But like, this is not, if this is the place where the action is happening, that action is not processing your feelings.
Right.
Your feelings are important and you need to process them, but that's not the place.
Totally. And I think it's a place where in the healing journey, the self-help, the therapy, like whatever your particular lane of that has been, there is a way that we're still so self-serving of our woundedness versus actually there for the irrigation of the wound. Right? Like we're still more interested in like talking about what happened to us. And I'm not saying, not saying we don't need to. I'm not saying that healing isn't important. I'm not saying any of those things. I'm just saying we're really kind of fucking obsessed with the personalization of experience. And I think that when you recognize that we are actually cells of an organism, right? Gaia is the organism. We're the fucking cells. And if we don't start cooperating together, if like we just keep going off and like needing to be very narcissistically like nasal gazing in our own like woundedness, rather than being like, what happened to me was fucking systemic. It's not fucking personal. What's happening to us is systemic. We are part of a system that wants to take your power, that wants to keep you sick, that wants to have you trauma, flaring and all of the
traumatized.
Absolutely, right? Like that is systemic, not personal, right? And that should bring a rage that fuels you towards shifting the systems.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Like I remember, I think it was Nisha once who said, like, point our arrows at the system, not each other.
That's right.
But I also get, like, if you already have shame, then you're already uncomfortable with feeling or being behind.
Absolutely.
I don't know how I even just smack myself in the face with this. But then you're just slowing things down. You're slowing down the movement. You're slowing down the activity.
And that's what shame. That's what shame is used for. That's why we're conditioned into shame, because it does fucking slow you down, right? It keeps such drag in your system where you're just spinning and looping in yourself, rather than moving forward or moving up or down, whatever direction we want to fucking move. But like moving.
Yeah. So what's popping into my mind, when I first got back to New York, one of the things that I was most excited about was to just find some organizations to get involved with. Like truly, like, let me just roll up my sleeves and go be of service. Like, and I went to a organization called City Harvest. They do food rescue, they do packs, they do all kinds of things. But it's very corporate, right? It's a large organization. Companies send their teams and stuff to volunteer there and things like that. And so the first time I went, it just felt, I wasn't really vibing with it. And then I found another place called One Love Community Fridge. And this is more grassroots, right? They have a studio. You go to the studio every week. You pack, like, the thing I love is how easy they made it to help.
Right.
You just roll up on the studio and they've gotten all kinds of food that's been donated and we're repackaging it and labeling it and doing whatever, right? Or distributing it, taking it to this fridge. Oh, these fridges need to be cleaned. Like, great. Who's doing what? Here's what I love. You don't, the couple of people who are like in charge that like work and run it, but then everyone else, you don't really know who they are. You don't know what they do. You don't know their status. Like, we're all just there. Sleeves rolled up, all hands on deck. What do you need me to do?
Right.
Oh, you need me to do labels? Great. Let me write some labels. Oh, you need me to put lettuce in bags? Great. Let me do that. Like, oh, you need me to divvy up 3,000 chicken tenders that the school donated before they went on break? Great. Let me do that. It's a chicken tender palooza. Like, and what needs to get done gets done.
Yeah.
And that's why I love it. It's efficient and it's effective. And so I think people could just realize what's the most important task at hand. You know, the word that keeps also popping in for me is triage.
Tell me why.
Because I think about when it was Black Lives Matter, at the height of Black Lives Matter in 2020, and some people were responding with, but all lives matter. It's like, okay, that is true. And this is triage, right? Black lives are much more threatened, in danger, and under attack in this country.
Right.
at this time, at this juncture, historically, whatever.
Yeah.
So we're going to prioritize this. It's actually going to trickle into an effect and improve everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
But some lives might need a different kind of attention.
Yeah.
Okay?
Absolutely.
Because we can't blanket all when different people are having different experiences, right? I think about right now, all the conversations that are having around like men, decentering men, not all men, this, that, and what other. People are tossing around misandry. And I don't remember if we talked about this on the show, but it's like misogyny is a system.
Right.
It's a system of domination and oppression.
Right.
Misandry is a response to misogyny. It's not the same thing. Misandry is not a system that has been systematically oppressing people for thousands of years.
Right.
Misogyny is. So that's actually the same exact thing as your abuser making your response to their abuse the problem.
That's right.
And not looking at the fucking abuse that
That's
caused
right.
the response.
That's right.
Right? So
That's right.
this is what I mean by triage.
That's right.
You know, we need to address the issues that men have caused and created predominantly for thousands of years. And then, yeah, sure. Are women harmful? Of course. Right? We're not saying ignore that, but we're saying the priority, handle this big thing that is honestly behind almost all the problems.
Absolutely.
This thing will actually solve itself.
Well, you know what's great about triage as the focus is that triage requires that we create a container around something. Right? And so then now we're centralizing our focus. We've got a container around something. And I think that's one of the places where us modern day folks really lack maturation is both in our communication skills and our focus skills, being able to create a container around something and say, this is what we're doing right now. And this makes the most sense. This is the most dynamic and, as you said, efficient and effective place to begin. And if we can't if we can't start with triage, if we can't start with a container, if we can't bring some containment to the conversation, some containment to our focus, understand some order of these dominoes that we want to start falling, we are going to stay in the disempowerment over the overwhelm. We're going to stay in the disempowerment of our smallness, and we're going to keep letting the deluge of the system subsume us and consume us because it wants us that overwhelmed and it loves that fight when someone says Black Lives Matter and you go, oh, but what about this? And oh, but what about that? And oh, but what about this? And oh, but what about that? And the answer to that is fucking focus, people. We need to fucking focus. We need to come together and focus. Where can we begin to make a shift? Because how you do one thing is how you do everything. And if we could come together around the issue, around what needs to be triaged, around the lives, and like, so in this country right now, like one of our biggest flares, right, is around ICE and around the kidnapping of people off the streets and the lack of rights that are being honored. And if we can focus there, if we can focus around the women's rights that are being taken and these bills that are going on to murder women around abortion rights and around pregnancy issues, like we need to focus on the biggest places that need our triage right now and to really, really understand that if we can't come together in that, if you can't find a way to care about what is bleeding out the most, we're kind of doomed.
Well, and here's, something that it just continuously reveals is like the issues are actually not the issues.
The issues are not the issues.
So
the issues are the symptoms.
For example,
the
people who are pro-life, but focus all their pro-life energy on abortion and have no problem bombing schools and killing children all over the planet, or ensuring that a 14-year-old has to have a child, what kind of life does that set that child up for?
They don't fucking care.
You don't care about life.
They don't fucking care.
You care about controlling women's bodies.
That's right.
You don't care about life.
That's right.
If you cared about life, you would be up in arms and in the streets about all kinds of things. Kids are starving. You wouldn't be taking away SNAP benefits if that's the only way kids can eat.
That's right.
You wouldn't be defunding school lunch program.
Yeah.
Like, you don't care about life. That's
right.
actually not the issue.
That's right.
Right? It's like, and because like the triage, it's funny because did you ever watch Scrubs back in the day?
Yeah.
They rebooted it. And it's the original cat. Like, it's so
cool.
It's so nostalgic.
Yeah.
Like, Scrubs 2026 is giving me so much joy right now. But it's just a reminder, right? Like, someone's been in a car accident. They have a collapsed lung. Their leg is broken. They have a broken wrist. collapse lung needs the attention first because the leg and the wrist
Not the wrist.
are not going to matter if this person dies.
Right.
So it's like all these dumb little whatever. But to circle it back, I understand that for people who are in a shame spiral or just realizing something and be like, oh my God, how did I never see this before?
Right. How did
Your
I
own
think that I was
feelings
being
might
pro-life?
feel like, yes, your feelings might feel like the triage because it's the most intense experience you're having. But if you can zoom out on the whole thing and be like, okay, that's mine, but this thing needs, like, where's my attention? Where can my focus? How can I best be of service?
Right.
Given my resources, access, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, what's the actual, and I think that's also it, right? Because you're saying the depersonalization is such a big thing, right? It's actually not about you. This is a systemic issue. You can have your feelings. Nobody wants you to not have your feelings. No one wants you to stuff your feelings.
Nobody wants to stuff
But we
them.
do want you to address your feelings in appropriate containers, contexts, and with appropriate people.
Right.
And I think that's a big...
And I think what's hard there around the appropriate people is that a lot of times when, especially if you've been very co-opted, very conditioned, you thought you were being pro-life, you thought you were following, your religious structure or whatever, and you wake up and you realize I'm actually part of the problem. I'm, colluding with murderers and rapists and pedophiles to, annihilate life on this planet and control bodies and go on this transhumanist, agenda. And I don't want to do that anymore. And all of a sudden I feel like I'm lacking community. Like everyone else in my life is still on that train. And now I feel really alone. And I think that's part of it, is that when you enter into a new community from that place of your deep aloneness, of feeling like you've lost everything, again, that's really hard. And that's another place where containment has to come in, right? And being able to, be able to say, like, I need to make new friends. I've got to build new relationships. I've got to find appropriate people to do that. But maybe in the middle of the sprint that we're in, to save lives is not the moment to privilege your moment when you're still in complete non-survival safety to navigate this situation. And we have people who are literally not going to survive this situation if we don't focus there.
Yeah. I just wrote down, I don't know who's the originator of this idea, but the best apology is change behavior. So rather than feeling like you need to announce how sorry you are, you need to whatever, just, again, get in there, roll your sleeves up, do something, make a difference.
That's right.
That's the apology.
That's right.
Right?
That's
because
right.
you weren't doing something before. In fact, you were doing things that were harmful. Great. Do things now that aren't.
That's right.
That's how you apologize.
Yeah.
That's truly, and from an embodied perspective, I think this is also one of the reasons why we see what you're describing happening, is people are so only in the mind about it, right? Only in the mental understanding, really trying to literally wrap their brain around something that if you just let yourself feel, if you could be in your body and see where your body is pulling you, how can you help? What feels like the most important thing to you?
Right. Yeah.
Then you can move in a direction that's appropriate for you.
Yeah.
But it is unfortunate that because there's so much anger and so much pain and so much rage, that a lot of people will not be received well. And a lot of people don't have the sense of self-confidence, capacity, ability to not care how they're treated and just make a difference.
That's right. That's right.
Right? Like,
because again, we still want to center our own comfort, discomfort at the place. And then we also still want to punish people for not being where we are.
That's right. And that you can't, being punitive with each other is one of the biggest inhibitors to progress.
I'm so tired of seeing "have the day you voted for" like as a response on, like I get it. I totally get it. And also not fucking helpful. Not fucking helpful at this point. If people are waking up, if they're beginning to have a shift of consciousness, invite them, encourage them.
And you know what? I also think this is it's also a call for better organization and structure, right? Where we can center and focus on ourselves as being what am I best equipped to do?
Right.
Right? Because I think about what just popped into my mind was quite a while ago. I went on a first date with a man who he does healing work, and he works with a lot of like newer on the path type of people.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, man, I respect that so much. I'm like, I can't. I used to.
Yeah.
And that's just it's not my zone anymore. My zone is really people who are like through all of like the most triggering, like intense traumas. And now they're in a better place and moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I do my best work, right? Or people at like thresholds. You're making choices. You're leaving a marriage. You're starting a new career. Like transitions with that, like, I got you, right? But that like fresh grief, fresh trauma, just waking up and realizing things, I'm not the best for those folks.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been real clear about that for so many years. Because there's a patience that like for so many things, I don't even need to get into it. That's just not I don't do my best work there.
Right.
So why would you want me to? Because that's also part of this, right? Even when I speak about certain things, anything that I speak about dating, I'm a heterosexual woman. I've engaged with men. Like, if you could get any value out of what I'm saying as a gay or a bisexual person, great. But I just want you to know that coming into this experience, you're literally going to have to be doing that mental math for yourself of finding yourself in content that's not actually for you. If you don't mind doing that, fine. But there are people who have your experience and specifically work with folks with your identity.
Right.
Wouldn't you rather be in a more specialized place? Or if not, at least don't be mad at me because I'm not trying to like widen the net to speak on things that I have no business with.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So it's again that piece about effectiveness. Because let me tell you, we need some fucking effectiveness right now.
We do.
Like, is shit not dire enough? Is shit not scary enough for you all? You still want people fucking around and playing in parties that aren't theirs to play in? We still want everyone doing everything, being able to articulate and speak up and know like, that hasn't worked.
It hasn't worked. And
I think that's also the other thing. We need to be able to look at, well, historically, this is how we've done things. And look where we are. I don't know if that works. Like, what else can we try? Again, but that really takes being able to focus on the bigger issues and take yourself out of it.
Right.
In a way that is useful. Again, not in a self-deprecating, denying, avoidant way.
Right.
You got to deal with yourself.
Right.
But not here. And it's also okay. I don't think enough people here, like, it's okay. It's okay that you didn't know any sooner. Now that you do, come on.
Yeah.
And let's find you the person that should Sherpa you through this, because it's not me. Also, I don't know. We're probably not supposed to say Sherpa. What's it? Guide you through this, okay? What I like about that word metaphorically is I think about like the Sherpas on like climbing Everest or something. It's such an intense and important role. It's more than a guide.
Right.
It's a very specialized guide, you know?
Yeah. They've got the equipment. They know the route.
Yeah.
They've done it.
So, by the way, I'm not arguing to use a term that will be offensive to some people. I'm just saying I wish we had a better overall term. So that one wouldn't be the one that pops into my mind. If anyone knows one, please DM me on Instagram. Elizabeth, say this instead. Thank you. I always want to know. I'm not going to say it.
Aw.
But even this, right? Even that, the language policing, the perfectionism, the need to get it right. It's like, yo, we haven't gotten this right yet.
You can't get something right. Like, getting it right is a certain skill set, like, that's been found. Like, structure is known, that arose from wisdom, and now we're in repetition mode, and that's where you can get something right. When you're shooting the fucking dark in the unknown on the edge of a cliff and like to the abyss, like, what the fuck is right?
I actually, you know what's wild? Like, not even an hour before we got on, I saw someone had shared an Adrienne Marie Brown quote. This will not be the perfect articulation of it. It'll be more of a paraphrase. But she said something along the lines of that, like, all organizing, I don't remember if the term was organizing or activism, is science fiction. Because we're literally all trying to weave and create something that has never existed before.
That's That's right. And for me, this is why bringing our intuition and an expanded consciousness is so fucking wise here. Because this isn't just about replication mode. This isn't just about like hunker down and fucking hope for the best mode. This isn't about moving from the places that our habitualized self understands. Right? If you're a creator, you know you came to a point of like recognizing like, oh, if I stay at this level, I will just keep repeating this creation. I have to open up, right? Like every creator goes on that journey where you're like, oh, I've got to open up. And that's where we are as a collective. If we don't open our consciousness, right? If we think about the crossroads we're at, there's really just two crossroads. It's the path of evolution or the path of involution. And they both feel like movement. And they both, you know, and the thing is that the path of involution will look like we're doing stuff faster because we can take action, because we're taking it from the past. We're taking it from repeating at the same place. If we don't open up to what's the new potential, what's the new possibility, what have we tried that hasn't worked? We've tried a lot of things that haven't worked. What else can we do? And I think this is where grassroots and intuition become two of the keys that are like really necessary, like gathering your pods, getting together, you know, creating. For me, it's really about creating a conscious circle of humanity, right? Like who are the souls that I want to be in relationship with and, you know, really building counsel with and thinking about like, is that going to be, you know, getting on land together? Is that going to be, you know, staying global so that we're influencing communities in other ways? But like, what is the way to build my own grassroots activism that is able to then focus our triage efforts in a certain direction, that's able to have containment, that's able to understand how to work together and weave something, you know, and what's the legacy that I'm willing to leave for humanity, right? I know my camera's got problems.
This makes me think about Zohran Mamdani, right? Because it actually is pretty amazing amidst all of this to be a New Yorker and have this incredible transformative mayor who's just doing things and getting things done and showing people that government actually can function.
Wild.
With the right people in the right places, right? And what's fascinating, here's a really great example. Because as you were saying that, I was also thinking about, and also, are we reevaluating? Like, we tried this before and it didn't work, but what was different then? What's different now?
Exactly.
Should we revisit this?
Right.
The conditions have changed. The situation is different.
What didn't we know that we know now?
What did we learn? What could we do differently?
That's right.
Like, even, it might sound like the silliest thing, but the person who designed Prospect Park also designed Central Park. And Central Park happened first.
Right.
And they incorporated everything they wished they would have done with Central Park into Prospect Park.
It shows.
It shows.
It shows.
Right?
Right.
So again, it's like, okay, that wasn't it. But what did we learn? We could try this again. And also the situation's different.
Right.
Or, you know, whatever. Or, you know, we didn't have this person in place, or we should have used that, like, whatever.
Right.
The blizzard we had in New York just a couple weeks ago now, where Zohran Mamdani decided to pay people to shovel. Right?
Just get it done.
Paid people $30 an hour. Yeah, just get it done. And that blizzard, the percentage of streets and sidewalks that were passable, literally within 24 hours, blew the previous storm out of the water that wasn't even a blizzard.
That's right.
Because he did that. Now, there's people on the internet being like, this wasn't new. This wasn't his idea. This program's actually been around forever. It has, but guess what? No one used it. Why is it so much more important to some people?
Yeah.
To be like, well, to shit on a thing instead of being like, that was amazing, great. Because he's not their guy?
Yeah.
When I talk to my mom, every once in a while, we'll talk about politics. I'll bring something up. I actually said that. I'm like, man, I can't believe the way Zohran got this blizzard cleaned up in like 48 hours. She's like, all right, but what about his policies on this, and this? I'm like,
again,
I'm sorry.
focus.
I'm confused.
Containment.
I'm like, I literally said to her, I'm like, I'm so confused about this response. What does this have to do with what I just said to you?
Thank you. That's right.
And she goes, well, I just wanted to illuminate the other side. I'm like, there's not.
Right.
This isn't even about a side. I'm talking about fucking snow.
That's right. I mean,
it's not on the street.
I think, you know, it's crazy how we're revealing our lack of capacity to even hold a conversation.
1000%.
Right? We can't even be in conversation with each other around these things because We need,
I love it. Your camera today is like, I will not focus
I
on
will
you,
not focus.
Alicia.
Like, we're talking about focus,
Your
Elisha,
camera is
and we're
like,
not doing it.
I will be blurry. Don't worry about it.
I never
the
have a blurry
transmission is
camera,
coming through,
right?
girl.
I never have a blurry
You
camera.
never do, but today we're a little blurry and it's fine.
Today we're a little blurry. But the need to protect our corner that is not even fucking yours to protect. Rather than be like, okay, let me get into this ring with my fellow humans. Let me be more interested in what we could build than protecting these fucking corners. Now, you know, like that corner is not going to save you. Your rhetoric is not going to save you. Your need to create more separation is just going to tank this ship faster.
Yeah. But I will say, and I always have to kind of review this because it gives me compassion. Like, for example, with my parents. Or, you know, or for other people. And the thing that I absolutely can't relate to, my identity has never been so, like, stringently hinged to something being true that I refuse to acknowledge it might not be because it'll destroy my whole sense of life, self, and identity.
Well, isn't that fucking wise of you?
Well, it's not wise.
No, it
I'm
is
just
wise.
more wired to be.
It is wise.
Okay, maybe it's also wise.
It is so fucking wise.
Well, to me, wise like comes with. I feel like I don't want to like take credit for something that's kind of wired into me. You know.
Well, as wisdom is. So you're listening to the truth, which is like, oh, this personality doesn't have to be addicted to itself. It's here for the experience. None of these things have to be so true that I would lose myself without clinging to them. Right?
But this is why. This is the reason why. And this is a reason why I don't get as angry as some people about the way certain people behave, because I'm like, they can. Because we might think, because this was the conversation I was having with my parents. I was having a meltdown. And you know what? I decided to return the favor and take it out on them. I very consciously was like, reparations. For all the years of my life.
I think this is reverse reparations, but okay.
or whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
This is my payback.
Passing the buck, yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to just take out this rage on them real quick, as so many things have been taken out on me that were mine over the years. But it's in part relevant because they are complicit with the thing I'm raging about.
Right, okay.
That's the difference. As a child growing up, I had all kinds of things taken out on me that weren't my damn business. I wasn't involved. It had nothing to fucking do with me. I was just in the house at the moment of meltdown. I'm sure many of us can relate.
Totally.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have an intentional meltdown on these motherfuckers who are part of the problem right now because I feel like it. Okay? I'm not embarrassed about this. I'm not judging myself. Is it the most evolved choice? No.
I don't know.
And I have to tell you how healing it is for me sometimes to be like, I'm going to be my most unevolved self. I get to be an unevolved bitch right now. So I text them. I'm like, listen, I'm worried about you guys. I'm like, because when all this Epstein shit really comes to light in an undeniable way, you're going to be fucking sick that you supported this man on any level, even just because you're Republicans and you wanted to vote the party. I'm really worried about you. This man fucks children. And my parents like, but in their minds, in their news, whatever, all these allegations are false. And that's what I realized. For them, it's not, because I said to them, I'm like, you know, my parents, who I actually know in their hearts are good people, are supporting a pedophile. Mm-hmm. And I'm concerned that when you realize that that's what's been happening,
right,
you're going to lose it.
Right.
Because you're going to be so embarrassed and so ashamed.
Yeah.
And so upset.
Yeah.
And I meant that. I wasn't being manipulative. I really mean that. I honestly don't know what they'll do.
Well, and that's why a lot of people won't wake up, because they won't be able to handle the crumbling of their identity, which is so rooted to those things, those falsities being like needing to be true for them.
Well, and that's what my mom said to me. She's like, well, we're not of the belief that those things are true. And I was like, got it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So for those of us who are enraged, something that has helped with my rage is me saying, you support a pedophile. They're like, we don't believe he's a pedophile. Which, again, insane. It's all right there, but whatever. if you don't believe something, you're not going to engage with it at the level at which I think you should. Or at the level at which it would take to stop believing in that dumb fucking thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, well, I don't believe in that, or
That's
I don't
right.
see that, or that's not how I see it. So they're not like, I'm addressing it from a place that's not even clocking for them.
Not at all.
Because they're not even in that zone.
That's right.
Instead, what's clocking for them is this person's attacking us
Right.
for our politics.
Right.
Which is then just digging them in to the position, right?
That's right. Because
They're
now they have
victims.
something to defend. Right. Now they have
Exactly.
now they have a position
Exactly.
to defend. Now they have a place to feel vindicated by what's getting
So-
perpetuated.
Same, but different. We talked about, if you're the person just waking up, how you have to manage your own feelings.
Yeah.
If you're the person who's been at the party, we also need to manage our own feelings about those who probably aren't coming, might not, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because it's like, that's not helpful. I'm not helping the cause or my own experience
I would say
by trying to like ram something down somebody's throat
Totally.
that they are just not going to hear.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think it goes even beyond managing our feelings. It is to recognize we can no longer wait for them to wake up to begin to build
That's
what
it.
has to get built. So just as
And we
we've been
also don't
talking
need them.
about decentering men, we need to decenter.
Yep.
We need to decenter the perpetrators in our life,
1000%.
even if they are quote
Yep.
unquote unconscious perpetrators, right? So if they are
Yeah.
complicit in these things, they are perpetrating, the system of harm. And even if we love them, even if they are our parents, even if they are our partners, whatever your situation might be, decentering them in a place that you're no longer waiting for their permission. You're no longer waiting for them to understand your position. You're no longer expecting them to come along with you. You need to get the fuck on with
Yeah.
your journey. You need to step into the path of creation. You need to get in collaboration. You need to step forward into what your activism is going to be. And a lot of times I think what those of us who have been at the party for a long time, maybe one of the reasons why things haven't been furthered is that we have a little bit of waiting and wanting the others to join us, because we're so used to being the outsider. It would feel a lot easier to continue to hold the edge if we didn't feel so much the outsider,
Yeah.
right? And I think
Well-
that we just have to let that go.
Well, and then also we want to be right.
Oh, totally.
Then there's also our own ego stuff, right? We want to win.
I think a lot of
We
people.
wanna be right.
I think a lot of people felt like that vindication with the Epstein files that have even been released in the fucked up way
I
that
agree.
they are.
I agree.
It was like, oh, finally, like I've been, saying. I mean, some of us have known about this kind of stuff for a really long time. It was like nothing, and there was a shock. No, that's not necessarily true. Nothing about the wholeness of it was
The
confusing
actual,
to us.
I'm not going to lie, some of the actual details.
Yeah, some of the details
were
are very
shocking to me
shocking. Yes, absolutely.
Because my imagination could never have gone to how depraved some of it is.
No.
Like, I'm actually ruined as a person from a handful of the details
Yeah.
I heard.
Yeah.
I will never be the same. I can't get it out of my mind. I'll never be able to deal with it. And I wasn't even reading it. It was just like a couple things like people were posting online. Then I was like, oh, I just learned something against my will that ruined my life.
I think what is most shocking, again, not about sort of like knowing that sort of thing, that's not shocking to me. But
Yeah.
I think what continues to rip me open is this inability to comprehend how humans could lack such humanity.
That's exactly what it is.
And
It's so vile.
It's so vile.
vile.
And to me, that level of soul loss is so fueling to my mission.
Yes.
Because if this is what happens when we have lost the world soul, we need to be like, talk about the triage on the spiritual level. Like, recovering the world soul is the whole fucking point right now. Because if we can't get back into relationship with that greater aspect of humanity, then there's not a lot to save here.
Yeah. And it feels quite important to say, as even though I'm saying like finding out this detail ruined my life will never be as ruined hearing a detail as the life of the person who is the detail.
That's right.
That had to experience it.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
So let me just give all due honor, respect, acknowledgement.
Yeah.
That I'm not being like crass or short-sighted about that. So yeah, I think but the two words that I feel just so deeply matter more than anything in any of these processes, humility and curiosity. Humility and curiosity. Do you really want what you say you want? Then we got to do some really uncomfortable shit. We really have to face, we have to deal with our own feelings. We have to be willing to show up and do stuff. Nothing is beneath any of us. Bless you. Nothing is beneath any of us. This is how because it's all so dehumanizing. You talk often about, I like how you talk about countering or corrective measures.
Right.
I'm like, one of the most corrective things we could all do every single day is make sure to treat another person like a whole person.
Yeah.
Do it on the street. Do it out and about. You're talking treat people like people. Look people in the eyes. It's, the same way that we're in we're living in these anti-intellectualism time. We're also living in very anti-social times.
Yeah.
Right? Where people love being like, well, I'm an introvert. I don't like small talk. I don't make okay, but this is also part of the problem. I'm not criticizing introverts for that because it's other right? You don't know your neighbors. You don't talk to for me, Marvin, the guy at the Cube Smart maintenance guy who I see every day. And we get so excited. I'm like, what's up, Marvin? He's like, hey, my friends. And it's just I don't really know much about him other than his name and that he works. But we're so delighted to see each other because we share a corner. That stuff actually matters, I believe.
Yeah.
So much more than we think it does.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway. You want to say anything else about that?
Well, no, I think I love, the call for the curiosity and the humbleness. And I think that for me, that really translates into keeping my heart open.
Totally.
And not following my own rhetoric, not getting lost in my own agenda of how I want the change to unfold or what I think I know. Again, going into the armored expert kind of place. And
totally.
I think...
Or savior.
Exactly, right? Because that can feel so much more, that can seem like we're more empowered when we're moving from that place, but it's not. It's really not. Yeah. And it doesn't, again, what do we know doesn't work? Well, we've tried saviorism, we've tried martyrdom, we've tried bypass, we've tried some of these things. So maybe trying compassion, humility, curiosity, deep connection with the humans in our community.
Yeah.
Right? Really valuing life, returning to nature. Maybe there's some other things to try here. So, yeah, I've appreciated this.
And
thank you.
I think also it's important to let hope be categorical. I maintain hope for humanity. It's actually been so helpful in healing for me to give up hope for certain things. For example, I've given up hope on my parents.
Right.
They're not going to get it.
Right.
Which then means because I'm not hoping for that, I'm no longer even trying.
That's right. Yeah, it's very freeing.
I've given up just the couple of things that I've been like, you know what? I'm not going to sit around and hope for that anymore.
Right.
I'm available to it. Because you're talking about what made me think of this is keeping the heart open. Something that helps me keep my heart open.
Right.
Which, by the way, an open heart doesn't have to be fully open all the time.
No.
It's still going to expand and contract.
Aperture.
It might
Aperture.
close. Yeah. Let it close sometimes.
That's right.
Okay. And then open it back up. Come in, retreat, tend, care. Open it back up. Let that natural expansion and contraction
ebb
happen.
And flow and always.
But also, that hope piece, not holding on to, it's not the same. I'm thinking the word unrequited because it's unrequited love. What's this kind of hope? Useless hope? Hope that's only upsetting you and not actually.
Well, I think it would be. I think
anything?
it would be hope that's just fantastical, right? It's not actually grounded
Delusional
in the reality.
hope.
Delusional,
Yes.
right? Where we're just
fucking delusional.
Again,
hope.
it's and it's that's sort of wanting to be saved from sort of to move into a false reality that's not there. I agree with you completely. I haven't said it that way, but I love the way that you said that, and I think that it is really important to focus hope where it is grounded towards. So for me, I my hope towards the greaterness of humanity, of us moving together into a new way of human familying. That's not a word, but you got it. Over the expectation, that certain people are going to get it, and I also my hope then is for the critical mass, which is
Yes,
actually
yes,
not
yes.
the whole world, right? We're not looking for that many
Isn't it
people
only
to
like
be awake.
7% or something like that?
5 to 10. So some people say 5, some people say 7, some people say 10.
Wow.
So we're, and so what I would
not
say
that
is that
much.
we're probably not that far off. And also in some of the ways, then if we look at the numbers of people who've been on their spiritual journey, who've been in the awakening place, where are we not fully rooted in that level of consciousness, right? So where can we go from humility, like, oh, right, I know some stuff, but maybe I haven't shifted my values fully to live what is true.
Yeah.
Right? Where am I still holding separation? Like, where do I get to go? Like, oh, I'm going to step into being the 5%, the 7%, the 10%, like whatever it is. Like, even if you already think you are, like, how do you be like, no, that's me. I'm the one who's called, right? So we all just check ourselves and maybe that becomes the tipping point, right? Maybe that becomes the tipping point.
Yeah. Well, praise be for the tipping point. May it come swiftly.
May it come swiftly.
All right, y'all. Thanks so much for tuning in. We love to, as always, we want to hear from you. We post on Instagram. You can leave comments and stuff. Or comment on the YouTubes. I think these are it. I'm not patting us on the back. I'm just saying this is an important conversation.
It was very helpful
not just
for me.
for us to be having.
Yeah.
People need to we need to talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
So
I liked it.
All right. Thanks for being here, everybody. It's rough out there. We love you, though.
We love ya.
Your mystical aunties love you. Bye.